Hey guys, I'm Kim. Thank you so much for coming by my channel. I really appreciate it. And I hope all of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving week, whatever you decided to make of it. Um, so I'm gonna do today's painting, which is not really a painting, as a voiceover. But I wanted to warn you all it might be a little bit noisy because I decided today was the day I was going to do it, and then my neighbors started doing work on their house, and so if I do the voiceover in one room, you're going to hear all of the neighbor noise, and if I do it in another room, you're going to hear my dog, who is not liking the workman next door, and would like to tell them about that. So anyways, just giving you a heads up, you might hear a lot of banging and talking and maybe even some cursing in the background. I will try to get rid of it as much as possible. Anyways, like I said, today is not really a painting. So I am making gesso, which Google has told me is the correct pronunciation for that. I have several paintings that some that were varnished, some had the hair serum in them, and I wanted to reuse those canvases, so I decided the best way would be to put down this gesso, which is like a base coat, which will keep the other paints from seeping through. And it was supposed to be a lot cheaper to just make it myself with ingredients I had on hand, and as I was planning this out at like 10 o'clock at night, I didn't want to go to the store, obviously. And when I decide I'm going to do something, I don't want to wait until the next day to have to do it. So anyways, I started this actually before I went on vacation. And you will see I finished it when I got back, and yeah, you're gonna see kind of where I messed up. And I don't think making this from scratch is best for me. I think from here on out, I'll just go buy it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or Amazon, because I think that'll be better. Anyways, again, just wanted to say thank you for stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So let's go look at my mess. Okay guys, so like I said, I'm making homemade gesso, and the recipe is going to call for 1 part white glue, 1 part acrylic paint, 3 parts cornstarch, 3 parts baking soda, and then 2 to 3 parts of distilled water. But before I do any of that, before I do any mixing, I have to clean these canvases off. So I'm using alcohol to make sure I get rid of, any oils, dirt, anything that might have been on there. So with this one, I ran into a little problem. The black was actually my acrylic paint pens from Arteza, and it smeared. So yeah, I'm glad I actually cleaned this up. So when I'm doing this, like I said, it's 3 parts and 1 part. So basically whatever you're doing, whether it be ounces, tablespoons, whatever, you have to use the same conversion for everything. I don't know if that's the correct word. So I also had to convert dry ingredients. So I'm doing this by ounce. And so I looked it up, and to get 3 ounces, which would be 3 parts of cornstarch and baking soda, I needed 6 tablespoons, which, yeah, that's a lot. 6. See that? I'm showing this so that you guys can also help me count, because I was losing count when I was doing this. And so I'm gonna do the cornstarch and the baking soda, and I'm gonna kind of mix that a little bit to make sure it's not clumpy. You know, sometimes baking soda can get clumpy. I think if I were to do this again, and I may try this again just for scientific purposes, even though I don't do well with science, I would stick to doing it instead of doing everything by ounces. I think I would do it by tablespoons. So I would do 3 tablespoons of glue, of the cornstarch and baking soda, 1 tablespoon of the glue or acrylic paint. I don't know. I had watched some videos. I had read different recipes, and of course this one was the one where I had all the ingredients already here at home, which is helpful, right? So I'm going to zero this out and go to 1 ounce of this glue wall. And then I'm going to zero that out again. I should have turned my scale so you guys could see it. And do 1 ounce of acrylic paint. Now, if I were to do this again, I would have mixed the glue and the dry ingredients a little bit first, and then added the acrylic and mixed that again, because it had a weird consistency. And since I don't know anything about what commercial gesso should look like, it was hard for me to know if I had the right consistency. So it says to do 2 to 3 parts of distilled water. So I'm actually doing it like 1 ounce to 2 ounces at a time, and then checking consistency. And then I'll just keep adding to get it where I want. Like right now, it's kind of pasty. I needed a little. I think it's maybe is better to have it a little bit thin and do multiple coats, which was my intention. But you will see at the end of this video, I maybe messed that up. So I'm just making sure that I've got everything off the bottom. And if you have made this before, leave me a comment and tell me if you think I have messed up anywhere along the way and what I could do to correct this. So you can see here, it is thin, but that's okay. I'll just do multiple coats. So this is a canvas that I was actually testing Dutch pour on, and it's torn. And I had thought about cutting it up to make bookmarks. And I still may do that with the next painting, but parts of this were like really thick. Again, this was one of my dancing ladies, but her paint smeared, so I obviously couldn't keep this one. So I'm just gonna cover it over, and you can see these acrylic pens do some weird stuff. Like if I'm gonna varnish over those acrylic pens, I think I have to use a spray varnish because that's been sitting for like 5 months. This was the one I did with the figure 8. It was an open cup. I did not like the way this dried. This was the puddle swipe I did a few months ago. And I'll link to the videos for each of these if you want to go back and see what I did and how I got there. But I didn't like the way this one turned out, so. But I didn't realize I didn't truly like it until it was dry, so that's why I'm gonna just go ahead and reuse this canvas. All right, so I waited over a week because I did this like the Saturday before Thanksgiving. And I forgot I left some sitting in this little tub and it hardened. Yeah, that's what happens when you have cornstarch and glue. It gets hard. So I had some in a little bottle and I thought, okay, it'll be fine. I'll shake this up. This one's been sealed. It wasn't sitting up. My intention had been to come back like a few hours or the next day to paint over these, and I got so busy. Well, this one in the bottle is a little thick as well, right? Look, yeah, except I poured it out and the heavy stuff settled on the bottom, which it's supposed to do. And then there was like water on the top and it got like really thin. Clearly, the gesso sold in the store must have some sort of preservative in it or something to keep it from separating, solids falling to the bottom, and getting crazy consistencies. So this was like so thin that I couldn't, yeah, it was spreading, but it wasn't drying onto the canvas. Look at that. It's just making big puddles. So okay, and can you see how it's separated? Yeah, that's like really thick at the bottom. And it's just not drying. It's just like white water sitting on the top. I tried squishing it. You can see some of the thick stuff is coming out, but no, it's a mess. Just trying to mix it, like get it right. I knew if I stuck a popsicle stick in there, I wouldn't be able to move it around, but also um, I was afraid that all the liquid stuff would come splashing out at me. Okay, one last try. Nope, can you see like how thick it is at the bottom?
So the moral of this story is A, it can't sit. You have to make enough for what you're doing right then. And B, don't leave it in your cold garage for a week while you go on vacation. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm off to just buy some at the store, the craft store. They're having some sales right now. If you like the video, hit the subscribe and the like button. Leave me a comment. I really appreciate it. Have a great night, everyone.